Croeso Null, and welcome to the latest episode of the Fearless in Devotion podcast. Andy Gilpin, Tim Edwards, and myself, Andrew Pollard. We're a three-man ship today. Of course, go and check out our fantastic newsletter. A great thanks, shout out to our sponsors, the Fat Boar in Wrexham Mold, Hill Street Social, My Squin Hall, Carnival FEs, the Booking Banger, and the Croyce Howl. Now, just before we get into football stuff, I just want to say for myself and all at My Squid, a big thanks to everybody who came out yesterday and helped us raise some money for Young Lives versus Cancer, a great charity doing some fantastic work, driven by Mickey Thomas, who it's a charity very close to his heart. So thanks for everybody who threw in a few quid yesterday. I guess we should start things off adjacent to the Mice Gwyn. This is not just about plugs. And the Fat Boar on Friday night, where a certain Ryan Reynolds was in town, and not just Ryan Reynolds, but Channing Tatum as well. Tim, I believe you popped in for a brewski.
I did, yeah. My understanding was that they were here, so I thought, well, why not? Why not go down and see what happens? So, headed down there at the end of a very long day of probably too much alcohol, if I'm perfectly honest. I went down there, and all of a sudden, I saw a bit of a mini commotion. I was like, what's going on? And he suddenly just appeared where the guy doing the acoustic performance was. And he gave like a quick sort of 60, 90-second sort of speech, thanked everybody, wished everybody happy holidays, etc. Up the town. And with that, he descended into the night. And off he went. There's no sign of Channing at that point. But he doesn't even need to do that, does he? He could have just stayed out of the way, but came down, delighted everybody and disappeared. So, yeah, fair play to him. It's just nice to... It goes back to what they said initially, wasn't it? It said that we plan on being in and around the bars and the pubs and so on. And it even then sounded like a ridiculous thing. And now it's just become the norm. Even Friday was just like, oh, he's here. That's nice. Nice of him to pop in.
Yeah, I was on my bed. I love a Friday out because I have to work Sundays, so Saturdays are kind of off the table. I love a Friday out, but I was purposely staying home because I wanted to be fresh for pre-match on Saturday with the fundraising we were doing. So I was like, literally, I live a 5 minute walk from the Fat Board, and it's like, no, don't go, don't go. But Andy, like Tim said, this is. Were you surprised? Because it is just like this is the weird thing of this now is that this is not weird. This is just like, oh, it's just another Friday in Wrexham.
Yeah, and he brings random people with him. I like the idea they're all sort of sitting in Hollywood going, there's like some sort of mega WhatsApp group saying, anyone fancy coming to Wrexham? And Channing Tatum's there. Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, might as well. And Billie-Joe Armstrong says, oh, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, fair enough. Put me in. Yeah, jump on this plane then. We'll go over. Good thing for me. And I know they sponsor the pod, so I'm slightly biased, but it's nice that the Fat Boar have been graced, well, not graced, but you know that Ryan's aware and he goes there because Rich and the people at the Fat Board do a hell of a lot, not just for the community or the club, but you know it's a proper Wrexham institution. That you know it caters to what Wrexham is like, which is a drink and really good value. And I just think it's really nice that Ryan went over there and ate there and then did a little appearance because. You know, we all know that will go viral. We did like the Daily Star did a huge piece on it yesterday because it's such a good thing to do. Come in, have a little bit of a chat, buy everyone a drink, fuck off. You know, that's the proper. It's a proper good way to introduce yourself to Wrexham people, and he's pitch perfect, isn't he? He doesn't really get much wrong, does our Ryan. And
No.
Channing Tatum looked a little bemused. I thought in the morning, I thought he was going to commit some sort of hooliganism in the from what he was wearing on Instagram. But you know, fair play. It just puts Wrexham on the map once again, and it's just another news cycle of what these guys do for our town or city. Just blown away again.
A fun side note, I thought I'm supposed to be the shill for all things Walking Enterprises, but you take that role today, Andy Gilpin, please. But yeah, as a little side note, a fun story: an unnamed member of staff at the Carnivore, Rob McElhenney, paid a visit earlier this year or last year, and they have no interest in football. Obviously, clearly don't watch It's Always Sunny, and I had no idea who it was. And they obviously Rob and his guest left after having a meal, and then he forgot, I think, like a hat or a scarf. So he'd gone back in, and then she picked up on the accent and was like, "Oh, you're here for the football?" And he's like, Yeah, kind of. I know Rich Watkin was tearing his hair out when he told me that story. He's like, all I wanted was a photo of him in Rob Mack in the carnivore.
So no one
Anyway,
took a photo.
Rich did, just obviously of Rob McElhenney eating a nice steak in the carnivore. It's a very good photo to have for business, and yeah, this unnamed member of staff was just no idea, which I quite like that as well. I quite like just the not everybody's in the bubble necessarily as such. Now you mentioned him, Andy. Billie-Joe Armstrong was at the turf yesterday, and obviously at the game. Now for me, I couldn't give a toss. If it's Rick Witter or Gruff Reese, I will be buzzing. Billie-Joe Armstrong, yeah, I'm not really a Green Day guy, but it is a very big deal, and he is a very big name. Tim, I believe you got to also rub shoulders with Billie-Joe as well.
I did, yeah. I kind of got a steer that oh yeah, Green Day are going to be in the new turf fan zone that's popped up in the past week. Fair play to Wayne and everybody involved there for getting that back up.
Sorry to cut across, Tim, but you remember that Simpsons episode where the Red Hot Chili Peppers just end up in Moe's? We want Chili Willy.
It's just insane. Like, and I was like, "You what?" It's oh yeah, Green Day coming. I was like, "You," and then I was like, "Fuck off!" And then I had a minute, and I thought, "Well, hang on. There's nothing surprising about that, really, in the current climate. It seemed to make no sense to me." I thought, "Right, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go." And then speaking to various people, then like a blacked out little Mercedes sort of people carrier arrived, and out popped Billie-Joe Armstrong. I was like, Jesus Christ, it's a third of Green Day. I'll take it all day long. I know that Andrew just said he's not asked about him, but this is a guy with 5 Grammys, 75 million albums sold worldwide. It's a big deal,
He's not in Shed 7, is he, Tim? He's not in Shed 7, so it doesn't really matter. Also for animals.
Just shy about Shed 7. I've Shed 7. Did Shed 7 headline Wembley Stadium last year?
Didn't need to. Didn't need to. Did Green Day play Millennium Square in Leeds? No, I don't think they did.
They never will. Anyway, he just went. He went about his business fairly nonplussed. He was a lovely guy, just kind of faded into the background. And I think I said, "Oh my God, Thingy's here." And somebody said, "Billy Joel." I was like, "No, it's not Billy Joel. It's Billie-Joe Armstrong." Like, I'm not really sure who that is compared to Billie-Joe. Like, Jesus Christ. So I kind of schmoozed over in the corner. Where
did he have like bodyguards and stuff, or was he just
nothing? He was just there on the sort of Welcome to Wrexham documentary table reserved in the far corner of the fan zone, and he was just lovely, just posing for pictures, just chilling out. Turns out he's a massive fan of UK football anyway. I think he's been to Everton before, he's been to Leyton Orient, he's been to Fulham, Millwall, he's been to all these games in the past. And he's even gone on record as saying that he wants to experience matches further down the sort of pyramid as opposed to just Premier League and all that sort of stuff. So it's no massive surprise that he was here in the end. But he was a lovely guy. I had a chat with him. He seemed bizarre, really, for a bona fide rock star, kind of out of his comfort zone. Just like, oh yeah, I'm just here for the shits and giggles. And this is a guy that commands very large audiences. And he was lovely. And I said, "Oh, it'd be great if you could play here one day." And he said, "Oh, we'd love to." So there you go. There you go. If it happens, you heard it here first. And I would not at all be surprised because they're headlining Download next year. What a lovely little warm-up show that would be if they could shoehorn it in. That's a nice.
I like the idea of Billie-Joe doing the 92, doing all the clubs. But I think the main thing to take away is hopefully he had the time of his life this weekend. There we go. Yes. I'll get that in there. I had a fun old time myself. I had the pleasure of sat next to Carlos Edwards for the game. That was interesting. And then the pleasure of going out.
He's a real star I want to talk about.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. We had Bobby Shinton popped into the My Squid, Mickey Thomas, obviously, Andy Morrell, Mark McGregor, Barry Horn, and Carlos Edwards was our guest speaker. And he ended up sat next to me at the game. And then we went out for a few tipples afterwards to various drinking establishments. I don't think he obviously paid for a drink all night. And he very much enjoyed himself. Yeah. What a lovely fella. I know, obviously Liam is not with us, but Liam got to grab him at halftime and take a fantastic selfie, to be fair. Really good picture. But yeah, what a top fella. Nothing but good things to say about the town. Also, a fun fact, Roy Keane once said that if he can come back as anybody, reincarnation, he wants to come back as Carlos Edwards. So you heard that here first, just because he's so laid back. Yeah. So you're getting all the juicy tidbits, right? We've gone for like 10 minutes and we've not actually talked about the match that took place on Saturday. It wasn't great. It wasn't memorable. It was a 2-2 draw with Cambridge. Obviously going 1-0 down, getting back into it with James McLean. Then Stephen Fletcher scoring in the second half, 65th minute. And then there was a penalty in the 89th minute. Now, I've not actually seen it back as of this recording. Watching it from the PG3, it did seem pretty nailed on. Yeah.
Defo penalty, definitely. It's just a shame because I actually think the lad had pushed it a little bit wide, but came across Lewis Brunt, and once you make contact in the box like that referee especially was always going to give it.
Oh, yeah.
He's not quite Gun and Singh sort of range, that referee, but he wasn't great, was he?
I didn't think so. I don't want to be one of those pods where we come on and just lambast the referee because we drawn a game.
I do. I want to make it that pod.
You want to be that petty pod, right? It's like I said, I'm not seeing it back, but in real time, it did seem like a penalty. But I think on fair reflection of play, I don't think we deserved the 3 points. I think Cambridge at least deserved a point. I thought Matty James had another excellent game. Ollie Rathbone, I think the term would be industrious, covered a lot of ground, did a lot of the hard yards. Tim, what did you make of it?
Yeah, I see what people are saying. I think on reflection, it probably, you look back and go, yeah, it was probably a fair result. But if that ball bounces in off the post, it's job done. It's job done. It puts a different complexion on things completely. And you're thinking, well, maybe we did more than enough to win it. And they're fighting for their lives. I thought it was pretty obvious from early doors that they're a well-drilled outfit. I thought, that they're really swimming against the tide a bit, and they want to slug it out and get out that danger zone. So a couple of players give some of our lads a torrid time. I thought Max was probably below his usual level of what we got. I mean, he really needs to stick that guy in the over the touchline. I mean, it's a great bit of skill to get past him. There's no doubt about it. But I think you just, at that point, you just commit the foul. He's gone past Max way too easily there. Great goal, great finish. Howard can't do anything about it. And yeah, we mentioned Lewis Brunt up until yesterday. He's hardly, I don't think he's put a foot wrong since he's been in the squad. He's been brilliant, been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, we can't. It's easy for us to sit in and focus on either the positives or the negatives, one way or the other. But I think, looking at it, it's not that bad, really. And some people are just thinking, oh, it's a disgrace that we're drawing against the struggling team. It's like, come on. Never always going to have it your own way. And I kind of felt that before the match. It's like, well, at some point, somebody's going to come here, make a point, take a point, see you later. That's exactly what they did. And they thoroughly deserved it. I thought they were decent. I thought their fans were good, made that journey, made themselves heard. And it's not, it's not all that bad. If we go to Bristol Rovers on Saturday and win, all of a sudden, it's a great point at home last week as well, because we know what the away travels are like in comparison. But on the whole, yeah, it wasn't an amazing performance for us, but it wasn't an amazing performance, and we haven't lost. So I'm trying to be half glass full.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I saw on social media, dreaded social media, where it's the end of the world because we dropped out the automatic promotion spots. It's okay, it's fine, it's Christmas, we're third. Like I said, I've said all along, I would have happily taken 12th commiseration sort of thing, consolidation even this season. So yeah, to be third is fantastic. It is one of those games where they don't always go your way. It was, like I said, I thought Cambridge deserved every inch of that point they got, and maybe more. Andy, do you obviously we won't get too in depth into to the Bristol Rovers just yet because we will be previewing that coming up. But
talk about Cambridge, bloody hell, we are. You make me talk about Bristol Rovers already.
No, I was going to say, is it does Stephen Fletcher make a case for a start? Do you think? Because Ollie Palmer's played a lot of minutes.
No, come on.
He was lucky with that goal. Let's be honest. It wasn't the cleanest of connection.
No, it wasn't. He scuffed it. He absolutely scuffed it. Yeah. That goal is all about Rathbone, and it's all over social media how much he ran to get that ball. I thought he was excellent yesterday. I think that's his best game, and it shows his enthusiasm, and that's infectious because other people I think stood up to that, and I think Elliot Lee had a really good game yesterday comparatively to his form this season. I sort of think we are setting up quite conservatively. And you do sort of think against a side in the bottom reaches, should we have gone with two strikers? I was surprised Mullin didn't start against his old club. I know he came on and was lambasted a little bit for losing the ball that led to the penalty. But, I think there's still a couple of phases of play before you get there. It's not like he's completely given the ball to their winger and let him let him out back line. So, you know, the last 4 games, we've won 1-0. And that suggests to me that we're not really firing up front, but our defence is really mean. Now, that means that we can eke out a good few wins in League Two, but it also means we're susceptible to hiccups, to setbacks along the way. And yesterday was one of them. I wonder if now we haven't won, he may tinker with the formation a little bit again, and maybe put Lee back to his midfield berth and bring in a striker, whether that be Mullin or someone else. I can't see it being Fletcher, to be honest, Andrew. I know he had some really good touches yesterday, but for me, he's always been a 20-minute. And I think, you know, as the modern game progresses, you will get players who just come on as subs, and that is their role. And Fletcher is great at that because he's got a bit of everything about him. He's skillful, he's good in the air, he's quite powerful. He ties up a centre half. I just don't think he can do it over 90 minutes. I think he is more used to the side, using his know-how, his experience when their defenders are tiring. And that's usually around about the 65, 70-minute mark. So, no, I wouldn't want to see him start. The only thing I sort of think is Palmer has played a lot more this season than even Palmer thought he would. I do think he needs a rest to recharge, but I do think he actually played quite well on Saturday, and really took the game to quite a physical Cambridge side. You know, their set pieces were really, really dangerous. And when you've got Mark Howard in goal, who I thought again did well, but isn't as commanding from set plays as Arthur or even Callum Burton is. So you need the likes of Ollie Palmer around to really help out at the back. I'm sort of thinking that Bristol Rovers, there probably won't be too many changes other than maybe you might bring another striker in.
Can we wish I think you're very happy 30th birthday for tomorrow? He turns 30 on the 16th, so happy birthday to him.
Pembrey Happis, yes. I guess we'll move on to the Randall Round-Up, the Randall-less Round-Up, I guess we could call it for this week, because Liam is tied up elsewhere. And there's a couple of topics to talk about, but I think when we talk about goalkeepers, I might as well start and go in with that now. Rumblings of a new goalkeeper possibly are on the way. Now, Brad Foster, of course, played against Crewe in the week, got man of the match, had a very, very solid game. And then a mystery goalkeeper was spotted having a meeting with Phil Parkinson at that game. Now, rumours are, it's unconfirmed, but rumours it's a 21-year-old Hull City goalkeeper, Timothy Lotutala, who was on loan at Doncaster last season, kept a clean sheet against us, coincidentally, last season. Of course, Arthur Okonkwo out for who knows now. It's supposed to be maybe 6 weeks, 2 months.
It's worrying that, isn't it? Because we don't know. I'm hoping that, you know, they say there's a scan on the 18th. We'll see the damage to his hand, and maybe if it's not too bad, he'll be back for January, and we won't need to dip into the loan market. Or if it's a bit longer, then we're going to need to bring someone in, aren't we? Because it's not just, you know, Howard's done a fine job as a third keeper, but you need someone on the bench really, or even pushing Howard for a start.
Yeah, I think that was when Callum Burton came into the side. His form suggested that when Arthur was fit, it was going to be there's no nailed on number one really, because Callum Burton, I thought, did more than enough to warrant holding on to that jersey when Arthur was fit. And obviously it's down to Arthur to get an opportunity and force his way back in. Now, like I said, Brad Foster is on the books. Ben Foster this week has ruled himself out of another return as well. Callum Burton obviously out for the rest of the season. Tim, I think it was yourself who made the point maybe last week or the week before. It might even have been Andy in the WhatsApp chat about how with such a mean defence, could we get away with Mark Howard in goal for, you know, say Arthur's out until the end of January or maybe early Feb? Could we get away with keeping chomping nets with the defence that we've got?
No, and that's no slight on Mark Howard. I think
sounds like a slight on Mark Howard.
It does a little bit, mate.
he's a dependable goalkeeper, but I think you need somebody who's agile and who is quicker than Mark Howard in getting down to those low saves. And I think Mark Howard, by his own admission, he's not a million miles away behind Foster and kind of slowing down in that regard. He's a dependable goalkeeper. He was a little bit stick to his line a couple of times for some of the crosses and the corners that were coming in, which kind of the only sort of time you go, there's a slight element of doubt in it. I think Parky will know, because of the position we're in, You can't afford to take on any unnecessary risks. So I think he will be looking to bring somebody in. I mean, Parky must have had a massive fight with a goalkeeper during his playing days, because he's just had rotten luck with keepers in his time under us. You think about it, from Leighton up until now, it's always something. It's always some sort of goalkeeper drama, and never anywhere else on the pitch, just always there. So if worst case scenario we go with Howard, it's not going to be a bad thing in by any way, shape, or form. But I just think to cover our backsides, he will be looking for somebody who's got that bit more nous and a bit more youth that can just be more cat-like in terms of their agility.
There's another thing at play here, and there's a few unknowns. Yeah, we don't know when Okonkwo's back, but the big unknown for me in this upcoming January is how much are we going to spend? Now, the Allen family have come in. There's funds there. I don't know if they're going to be siphoned off primarily for the COP, or if they're looking at the team as well. Now, if I was Rob Ryan and Eric Allen, I would look at the table and go, this is a great opportunity for us to go up. And is there a sort of school of thought that we spend reasonably big in January to bring in what we need, whether it be a keeper, whether it be a striker? By the way, it is a striker. We do need at least one starting striker. Whether it be anything else, because this is a grand opportunity. We're all been saying that Birmingham are favourites to go up, and I think they will go up. But if it's between us and Wycombe, surely our squad is better than Wycombe's over a season. So there's a great chance to go back to back to back, and I wonder if they will loosen the purse strings a little bit and go after some pretty big names in January. Tim, what do you think?
100%. I think if we were 12th, 13th, 14th,
there's no point.
We'd be looking
for next year.
We'd be looking to get players in who can give everybody a lift. There might be a few less seats knocking around the place if we've had a bit of a lull. You entice those people back with some new faces. So just at that stage, it would just give everybody a huge lift. But because of where we are, nobody's expected it, and we've like a broken record. We say this in, week out, but because of the position we're in, they will throw it. They will throw money at it, and this will be the first time, probably publicly, where they've gone, oh right, they are flexing their financial muscles this time, not just a few little bits below the radar here and there. Here we go, name your price for him and see what happens, because we know Birmingham are going to spend big regardless. I'm not sure what Wycombe's finances are like and if they've got money, but how much will be afforded to them, I don't know. If they need it, I want to say we want to be in a position now where Fleetwood did to us all those years ago, where you want to weaken an opponent. Go after, is it Kone for Wycombe? Great player. Go after him. He's a striker with pace. When was the last time we had a striker with pace, really? Blessed with out-and-out pace.
Look, worst case scenario, we are 11 points ahead of 7th at the moment. So it's going to be a playoff berth, I would say, unless we have a huge collapse.
Yeah.
And I think it's a grand opportunity for us to get out of a League One, because you don't know what's going to happen next year. I know there's only 3 places up for grabs rather than League Two. If you're in this position now, I think you do sort of spend a little to give yourself the best chance to get out of here. And it's not like, we've overspent and we're going to go bankrupt the next season if we don't go up. That's not the case of us.
It's not just us that's expecting that. The rest of the Football League, the rest of the League One will look and see where they're going to chuck some serious money at it. And everybody's expecting us to. We're expecting us to. And I can't see any other narrative other than that. So...
And within the frame of that, if Okonkwo is out for a few extra weeks, I imagine that they will go quite big for an experienced keeper. Not permanently, but if there's a loan out there that's going to cost a bit of cash, they'll sort it.
The guy from Hull, very, very, very dependable goalkeeper, rated very highly. I think he's only 21. So I would not be surprised if he's there. If he's here, he's either visiting the club to support a teammate or he's not, isn't he? So it probably looks like they
should
may
should we look ahead towards Bristol Rovers, because we've got a guest?
Yeah.
Should we invite them in?
Yeah.
Always love this
we come back
moment.
to the Round-Up. Should also say Rob Layton is still a free agent, Just saying, if he's fit and
Oh
healthy,
my
it's a
God.
stopgap. It's a stopgap. But yeah,
He's also a great carpenter. So if you need anything doing, he's your man.
you keep your wood to yourself, Tim. Right. We've got Neil Davis. Is it? Yeah, Neil has joined us for the Talking Gas podcast to preview this weekend, I guess, as it is, coming game against Bristol Rovers. Neil, how are you?
I'm all right, gents. Yourself?
Yeah, good mate. Cheers for giving us some time to join us on this fine Sunday.
No problem.
Not so fine yesterday. So you guys lost 2-0 at Birmingham, which obviously no shame in that. Birmingham have heavily invested and have been flying for parts of the season. But this 3 league defeats on the bounce, I believe. 20th in the league at the moment. I mean, we a lot of fans expected us to get a result, get 3 points against Cambridge this weekend. It's not so easy like that. It's not a case of you have to still turn up. It's not just turn up and the opposition's roll over. So what can we expect from Bristol Rovers?
Truth be told, not a great deal. We're appalling, to be honest, at the minute. And I'm not just talking on the pitch. I think club as a whole is in a state of flux, and I think fan base to football club, there's not a great deal of trust there, and I think there's an undercurrent of real negativity and concern there, I think. So on the pitch is bad, but off the pitch it ain't much better either, to be honest.
So what's the main issues off the pitch then? Is this something that's just come up this season, or something that's been brewing for a few years?
It's like I said, there's been an undercurrent there ever since Joey went, which was under new ownership. Obviously, we had Al-Qadi that employed Joey. Joey got given the keys to the club essentially and said, "You're the football man. Do what you need to do." And Joey basically said, "We need to go down before we can go back up and keep building." And Joey, rightly or wrongly, if you love him or hate him, he pretty much did what he said he was going to do, and he got us back up. Granted, he brought in senior pros, and with that comes a budget and money. And Al-Qadi backed him. And then second season of League One, we got new ownership in the Q80s that have came in. Quickly identified that they couldn't work together because of what processes they wanted to put in place and the way they wanted the club to operate. So Joey got given the push. Then Matt Taylor came in off the back of 6 weeks of searching for a manager. It fell in our lap that Matt Taylor had been sacked by Rotherham. They jumped at that opportunity to get Matt Taylor through the door. I pretty much identified pretty early that the squad he was going to inherit were never going to have him. They were loyal to Joey. They were all Joey's men. They didn't want him to go, and he was never going to get a tune out of him. And that's the season petered out. It was been and gone by January. We had no prayer of doing anything. We were just coasting. But all of those players were going to be out of contract and shown the door in the summer. So again, the summer comes along. We restructure a little bit. We bring in George Friend, who was a player, retired, and he's been put to head of recruitment to work alongside Matt Taylor. And the Q80s were going to front up a bit of money to revamp this squad. Now, the money that's been spent is probably due to the sales of Aaron Collins and Evans that went to Huddersfield. I don't think much more has been put into it from there on in. They've done stuff as far as infrastructure and as far as the stand, etc. But what we're looking at now is a pretty weak squad of players that get overrun. And as far as the management side of things, he's not got a lot of clout as far as what I can see. He's a dead man walking. He's going to go within a matter of days, to be honest, because he's being undermined by the board. Decisions are being made. Football decisions are being made against his will. And he's got a group of players there that know that he's a dead man walking. So how is he going to get a tune out of him? Because they know that he's not going to be there for much longer. And a lot of these lads are on 3 or 4 year deals. So it's going to be 1 in, 1 out regardless. So it's really challenging at the minute.
Rainbows, it sounds like, mate.
Sorry. Do you want to go, mate?
No, I was just saying it sounds like sunshine and rainbows at Bristol Rovers.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just going to say, yeah, before Andy jumps in, I just going to say, what was realistic at the beginning of the season expectations?
Well, because of the overhaul and the 16 lads that have came in, new manager, new structure, I had us down at around 16th. I thought we'd be safe. I thought there'd be four sides worse than us, definitely. But due to the fact of what League One is this season, a lot of big hitters, a lot of money. We're not traditionally a top half League One side anyway. So I had us down at around 16th, 17th finish, and the owners have recently come out and they were saying they were looking at a 10th, 12th. So maybe that shows you where they're sort of pie in the sky in their land, because they're not football men, they're businessmen that want to turn a pound note over. So I think they were a million miles away from what they were expecting, because what we've brought in aren't big hitter players. Then there's not one of these lads in our side that you'll look at us on Saturday and go, cool, we could do with him in our side. We just haven't got that. We're not a top half side by any means, and we haven't got a player that's really would be desired by a top half side. So I think they're a bit pie in the sky, to be honest, as far as the ownership goes. But I had us down at around 16th, 17th. But I'd take my hand, I'd snatch your hand off now for just to be safe, just to be a League One club next season.
Neil, I don't follow Joey Barton on Twitter, but he's always in my feed anyway.
Yeah.
Interesting tweet he put in today. So it's a video of your man talking, and above it he's just quote retweeted it as GIMP. Is he still?
That'd be Joey. That'd be Joey. Yeah.
Is he still quite invested in Bristol Rovers, or is he just being Joey Barton and he needs to comment on bloody everything?
No, I think Joey made it pretty clear while he was in charge when we played Exeter. He's no fan of Matt Taylor. He doesn't like. They're polar opposites as characters, which is why I was the understanding that when he comes in and takes this group over, he will not get a tune out of him, because they're polar opposites as men, as characters, and the way they go about their day. So Joey and Andy Mangan, who brought those players in, and the way they operate, they were infectious people. They were, training ground looked like a fun and boisterous place to be. And Matt Taylor's a very process driven and regimented, and he's very distant as a manager. He's not an arm around your shoulder manager. You look at him in the way he carries himself. He's very distant, and that's with fans as well. He just goes about his work. Carries himself well as far as being diplomatic, and says all the right things, and he's very respectful even in the toughest times at the minute. Joey says what's on his mind, and he's got no filter, and ultimately he thinks Matt Taylor is a gimp, and he's responsible for no one but himself now. He's employed by no one, is he? So he says what he thinks, and he says what he thinks. So that's Joey's just being Joey there, I think.
Bloody Joey Barton, eh? Never mind. It feels like it's been forever since we've played you guys. I remember when Bristol Rovers did that double bounce from conference straight through to League One. So was it any surprise to you, Neil, to see Wrexham do it in a similar fashion, considering how we've been backed?
Not really. Like, I'm fascinated by Wrexham. Like, I know there's probably people out there that have got things to say in a negative light, but to be honest, I think it's probably 90% of it's envy. Do you know what I mean? If you could have offered us what you've got, probably snatch your hand off. Knowing what we know now, I know there was a bit of concern at the start by what the real intentions were, but
yeah,
from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like they've got a lot wrong, to be honest. They've invested in the community. Everyone seems pretty happy with the way things are going. They're saying what they're going to do and they're delivering, which isn't happening our side of things. Granted, it's a different model. But I'm not surprised. I mean, as long as the money's being stumped up, every football club's got a chance, haven't they?
Oh, 100%, 100%. We'll see what happens in January.
I was talking to my old man, to be honest, yesterday about it, and it's just, do you have any concerns as a football club when that momentum stops? When that slows down a little bit and you start to get into, say you get to the championships and there's another big hitters there and there's more money and there's more big football clubs, and you've got any concern about once the momentum stops and the interest may fade, or the sponsorship and the endorsements may not come forward so much? Is there any concern for you there, or do you think they're all in long term regardless of whatever happens?
It's still. I don't know what the other guys think. It's probably still quite a difficult one to answer, really, because we're still kind of riding this crest of the wave, and even when the momentum supposedly didn't quite work that first season, when we were unsuccessful in going up at the first time of asking under the ownership, we're so used to this crazy winning momentum carrying us through that when it does inevitably come to a screeching halt, it'll be very interesting to see how people react to it. You'll get a few people who will decide that's not enough for me. I can't believe we haven't won for 5 games. How dare we not? We'll disappear into the background until they start doing that. That's the fickleness of not just football fans, but sports fans worldwide. Probably to everything. So it'll be interesting because we don't really know how it's going to pan out in terms of who it's going to go to, who the next legacy is. They're cementing their legacy. Part of us is like, well, will it pass on to Rob and Ryan's kids? It's something that they want to have an involvement in. We've got the Allen family on board now. We want to kind of grow the sort of community aspect as well as pumping money into the playing side of things. So everything points to it being very, very stable and secure for a significant period of time. But there's always that worry, especially given our sort of not so distant past of where it could go wrong very quickly. So you never take things for granted. But I think the way things are panning out, they will have a plan in place for whoever takes it from their hands to be trusted people that can keep their legacy intact and grow it even further.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting bit. It's the investors they're bringing forward. So they've put this club on a stable platform. They've done it reasonably cheaply regarding their own sort of wallets. But what they have done is really bring it to a global sort of awareness. And I think that's got other people interested. And like Tim's mentioned, the Allen family, who are like an upstate New York sort of rich sort of community-based people. They've come in. I don't think they'll be the only ones who come in. And I think Rob and Ryan know that even their money will probably not mean much in the championship. But if they're still the figurehead and they're still really sort of involved in the football, which I think they are. I think Ryan certainly is. He's not really much of a sports fan, and I think this sort of Wrexham experiment has really sort of grabbed him a little bit. And I think after that, it's a case of the outside investment coming in and really sort of driving the club forward with Rob and Ryan as figureheads, I think.
Yeah.
Have you got an element of your fan base where they preferred the ragbag Wrexham and they liked it what it was prior, etc.? Do they still exist, or is everyone all in? Like 100%, everyone's all in on this, or is there an element of
there's definitely
like what we used to have?
There's definitely a few. I know a few of them, and part of me's like, I can understand where you're coming from, but when you've had so many hard times, how can you not enjoy the period we've got unless you really want to dig your heels in? And people are really, really have got some really, really inherent values that they stick to, and that's fair play to them. I know a couple of people are like, nah, it's not for me. I don't like the whole monetization of the club and the globalization of it. They don't like that. They kind of like that more unexpected nature of what a football club should be in a lower level. So it's difficult. I think they're probably the few as opposed to the many. I think that's safe to say. But yeah, I mean, you can't. It doesn't matter. You can have the happiest news in the world, and you're still not going to please everybody.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon we get on to score predictions. We can let Neil crack on with the rest of his day. So, who wants to go first? Neil, as your guest, I guess. What are you predicting for the weekend?
Not much from our side of things, to be honest. Looking at how you're going at the moment, you're probably more than content with how you're operating right now as far as the league. Other than Saturday, you look pretty watertight. Defensively, you look pretty sound, and if you was to look into our statistics and the way we are going forward, we're appalling. So I think you'll win 2-0 comfortably, and you'll probably look to do it in second or third gear, given the fixture pile up, the way that you can use your substitutions well, and the fact that you've got the Christmas New Year period coming in. I think probably Parky will look to try and not go flat out if he doesn't have to, and just win it in second or third gear as possible. And to be honest, I don't think we'll cause you that many problems. To be honest, once you get your noses in front, you'll be able to just dictate that game.
Andy, do you want to go? Do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm going. I'm quite looking forward to it. Not been to Bristol Rovers for must be about 15 years.
Wouldn't have changed much.
Is this still the Memorial Ground?
Yep.
Oh, is it? All right.
Might have had a lick of paint. Maybe that's about it. Well, we've got a new south stand, but it's something you can take apart with a socket set.
Yeah, that ground nearly killed Dennis Smith. He had to walk all the way around the pitch. You know, he wasn't the most mobile of managers.
Yeah.
Right. I think it will be tight. I think Wrexham will revert to tight. They'll try and get Wrexham will always start well and try and get their noses in front, and then we'll probably sit back on it a little bit. That's what we've been doing for the last sort of couple of weeks, and I can see that happening again. Neil, if you're sort of saying that Bristol Rovers don't have a second gear to get back in that, okay, that will play into our hands a little bit. So I'll probably go for probably a 1-0, our preferred scoreline of the past few months.
Yeah, Tim.
Well, I think we're in uncharted territory now. I think Neil's the third person in a row guest we've had on who's predicted a defeat for their side. We had a poor lad from Burton on. He said,
Ed.
Yeah, Ed.
Poor fella.
And he
has anyone checked on Ed?
He's fine.
Okay,
that's fine. And then we had the Cambridge lad on, and they were both, well, you'll thump us. It didn't quite work out that way for the Cambridge game. I've never seen us win at Bristol Rovers, I don't think. Jamie Curiton, that name haunts me. I'm pretty sure he used to score goals against us for fun down there. I think it will be 2-2. I don't know why. I just don't fancy us to get anything there, and that's probably from a personal and historical point of view. So I'm going to go 2 each.
Right, I'm gonna skip over my usual 3-0, and I'm gonna go with a 1-0. I'm gonna go with Gilbo. I'm gonna go with a Max Cleworth header to get us over the line, and I will happily take 3 points no matter how it comes. So if it's 1-0, great. If it's 3-0, even better. Right, give us a quick plug, Neil, on where we can find you in the podcast before we let you go.
Yeah, so essentially I'm a guest on Talking Gas podcast run by Charlie Haynes. So if you go on to, I guess, his Instagram and Twitter and all the rest of it, YouTube, you'll find him there. And I expect he may well ask one of you gentlemen to join in maybe later next week to do the same. But yeah, Talking Gas podcast.
There you go. Check it out. Neil, thanks so much for coming on. We'll let you go. We've got to do wrap up a few of the bits, but thank you for coming on. Thanks for giving up your time.
No problem. Cheers, gents.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
Neil.
Thanks, Neil.
Take care. Bye-bye. Great stuff.
Right. Yeah, we do have a quick couple of Randall-less Round-Up topics just to talk on before we get wrapped up quickly. It will be quickly, Andy. It's okay. We skipped over him because our guest was early. Just to say that tourism, since Rob and Ryan took over, 180 million boost in local tourism. 2 million people visited the Wrexham area last year alone, mainly thanks to Welcome to Wrexham. 20% increase across the county. Highest rise in Wales. This just goes on along the same hymn sheet we've been talking about, the positive the owners have brought to the town, the county, and the wider North Wales area.
Great.
There we are.
Fantastic. Right. This
other
on the
bits.
agenda. I know. I get told off. Yeah, Vertigo.
Nobody cares about that yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Liam Stokes-Massey. The mural is taking shape. If you haven't seen it already, there are 9 famous faces about to hit that wall.
3 famous words.
And 3 famous words. Award-winning podcast. Now it says "fearless in devotion," of course. Don't shake your head at me. God, dear me. But no, it looks amazing. And he originally had Wrexham as the name on it, and I said, it kind of looks cool, but we know it's going to be a Wrexham thing anyway. So maybe this. And I thought you'd just say, nah. Don't be so self-fulfilling, but he's gone with it and it looks amazing, or it was going to look amazing. So hats off to Liam. Go and support him. Go and take him a coffee. He's working his fingers to the bone in some very cold weather. So please go and see him and support him because he's doing great stuff. So yeah, great stuff for Liam. Wales World Cup qualifiers. We've got Belgium again, and then we've got Liechtenstein, North Macedonia, and Kazakhstan. Yakshimash. So amazing. I think that's a massive opportunity for Wales to get to the World Cup.
What happens, Tim? One goes up automatically, one goes through automatically in the second one in the playoff, yeah?
I think so, yeah. Plus Wales have got the backup option because they obviously won their Nations League group as well. So there's another sort of way through. But I think, Bellamy said he's more than happy with the draw, and he should be. I think it's on paper.
Oh, it's a great draw.
Yeah, it's a really
great
good
draw for me because I've never been to Macedonia, I've never been to Kazakhstan, and I've never been to Liechtenstein. And even though I'm not the most sort of avid Wales awayer, I do like the sound of going to Kazakhstan. And I think, if you're looking for excuses to go to Kazakhstan, and not many people are, I'm going to be honest. I think this is a good one. What's the capital? Astana, is it?
I think so. And this is Skopje. Skopje is North Macedonia. Apparently, it is a really good trip. I missed that last time, but good
I'd be up for all three of them. The one I wouldn't want to do is Belgium.
Still going, it's cheap and cheerful. So yeah, there's that. And you are not getting away with this. I know you're trying to cut it short, but I spent at least 5 times doing my next singing. I got the pitch all wrong last time. So
just before we get into FiD-mas, one last element of Randall Round-Up. Just a shout out to the Liverpool squad who paid a visit to Alder Hay for Archie White, Wrexham fan. Staying there, brilliant, absolutely brilliant from obviously Archie unfortunately recently diagnosed with a rare cancer that only affects less than 1 in a million people. Ollie Palmer, of course, visited him. The squad have sent messages. There was a video call from Rob, and I mean, not everyone's a Liverpool fan. I can't stand Liverpool, but some things are clearly, obviously, bigger than football. And it was great to see the Liverpool squad interacting with Archie, Liverpool putting it all over their socials, and also not pushing that there's any element of like, are you going to be a Liverpool fan? It's like, no, Archie White is a Wrexham fan, and he was there in his Wrexham gear, talking to Virtual Van Dijk and the like. So very classy gesture from Liverpool, and we're all thinking of your Archie. So keep on fighting, pal. Right, let's get this wrapped up, Tim. This is the bit me and Andy have been dreading. This is why Liam and Reese have boycotted it this week, I believe.
Well, I've had good feedback from it. They said it's much joviality is needed, especially when Andrew's back on. Andrew G, of course. I got told off by some man yesterday on Gilpin's behalf. Can't believe it.
Oh, what now? What have I done now?
No, it's just like it was just very much like. It's like, is he all right? I was like, yeah, it's fine.
Is he all right?
He's had a long journey, and he's like, oh, why did he bother coming on then? I was like, well, I did ask him that, but he wanted to show his face, the professional that he is. And then,
I'm sorry, I upset that fella.
No, he's definitely gunning for you, but that's besides the point. So, anyway, I've decided to, because I don't think I've done this one, and obviously it's the penultimate one. You'll be glad to know. Classic Slade. Merry Christmas, everybody. So I'm going to go with 1 verse, 1 chorus, all tied into the January transfer window because it's not far away. So brace yourself. Let's see. Hear it? Are you hanging up your wish list on your wall? It's the time that Super Parky has a ball. Does he buy a brand new striker? Does he bring Sam Dalby back? 'Cause it's fair to say that goals are what we lack. So here it is, transfer window, Wrexham splashing cash for fun. Trust in the process now. Sean Harvey's getting business done.
I think the best thing about this segment is it's at the end of the podcast, so people can just go, right, he's about to sing. I'm going to turn it off. It did make me vomit in my own mouth, Tim. There was a nice use of the lyrics. I agreed with some of it.
Simon Cowell Gilpin over here. Yeah.
If Liam was here, he would have turned his back in disgust at me getting Sean Harvey's name into a song. So.
Yeah, I know, but he's not here. So,
Yeah,
all right.
so we are, but we're not here for much longer. Go and check out the newsletter. Go and check out our fantastic sponsors: the Fat Boy, Wrexham Old, Hill Street Social, My Squin Hall, Connor FEs, the Bucking Banger, and the Christ Howl. The Spin Andy Gilpin, this spin to the mountains. I've been Andrew Pollard. This has been Fearless in Devotion. We're off. We'll be back next week.
Like and subscribe. Cheers.
Bye-bye.